almost 11 pounds. My mother gave birth to me, and my grandmother is the one, and she says, this one here we will call Chubby. My real given name is Antone Lawrence Tavares. I came from a family of 10, 3 sisters and 7 brothers. The brothers were all gifted from the good Lord and from our dad, who was an entertainer. Out of all my brothers, and we all sang very well, I was the clown. I was the front man. John is the one who taught us doo-wop. We used to follow groups such as the Flamingos, the Hoptones, the Moonglows. They all potentially had great harmonies. And my brother John said, yeah, we can be like them, but we have to create our own sound. And we did that for a few years. And I created a group. The group consists of 4 guys. I had a 3-piece rhythm section: guitar, bass guitar, and drums. And we called ourselves Chubby and the Realities. I did this for a few years. My brother Ralph got out of the service. Ralph came in. Then we brought my brother Victor in. That's when we changed the name to Chubby and the Turnpikes. We had 2 lightweight hits in the New England area at that time. One of the songs was called I Know the Inside Story. The other one was called Nothing But Promises. We started going into nightclubs around the Boston and the Providence, Rhode Island area. We had a slight problem. One of our brothers, Butch, wasn't old enough to get into nightclubs. So we used to sneak him in. We'd bring him in, we'd do a show, and then he'd go off and stay or hide in the dressing room until it was time to do the next show.
Hi, I'm Dennis Lambert, and I am a songwriter and producer, and I had the great pleasure of working with Tavares on 3 albums back in the mid-'70s. I first met them in late '74 when they had just signed with Capitol and had just released Check It Out, which was a hit. We, my partner Brian Potter, and I met with the guys with the thought of working with them on their next album, which did come to pass. And I have to say that our experience with Tavares was one of the highlights of our career. We knew immediately that we were dealing with a group that had an abundance of talent, particularly lead singers. All the guys could sing lead. Pooch, Tiny, and Butch were all fabulous, all did leads on the albums that we made with the guys, but clearly Chubby Tavares was the guy, and there isn't really enough I can say about just how great Chubby is. He has wonderful range. He has an incredible head voice, falsetto voice. He understood the power of a lyric and how to deliver it, and consistently on every song that we did with the group, he just shined. And all I can say is that I wish him the best. I wish we could work together again, and I hope to see the guys in the near future. Thanks, bye.
Shabu, bado, badu, badu, bade. Oh, life could be a dream. Shibum, 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 shibum. And that's what we did. We were out there. We had great harmony, and I was always the guy that wanted to be out there in the front. So that's what I did. So we continued on as Chubby and the Turnpikes for quite a few years. And in 1967, I decided to leave the group for a little while for personal reasons. And when I did that, my brothers changed the name because there was no Chubby there anymore. So they changed the name to the Turnpikes. And they continued on working for a couple of years before I rejoined them in 1971. My brother Butch had just got married to a well-known a celebrity named Lola Falana. And she had a tour in Italy and had us on the show with her as her opening act. And when you go to Italy, they don't have the slightest idea what a turnpike is. They have autobahns, but no turnpikes. So that's when we decided, as all brothers, being in a family group all our lives, why have crazy names? Let's name the group the way it should be, after our family, Tavares. We just finished the demo, and the demo was called Check It Out, oh check it out, check out your mind. Not knowing that Brian Pinella was going to go, he was our manager, and went and got a deal for us with Capitol Records. And that's when we came out with our first single hit. And Tavares then were on their way to bigger and better things. And this is what we did for years. Now, from that period on, in the early 70s, Tavares continued on making great hits. Numerous hits after Check It Out we did. It Only Takes a Minute. We did She's Gone. And in 1976, for some reason, we became a label of disco. We were always a good R&B group. We had a real upcoming song that was danceable. People wanted to get up when they heard it. And it was our biggest hit at that time. And it was called Heaven Must Be Missing an Angel, missing one angel child, 'cause you're here with me right now. And that became a big seller for us. We had a great, we got a platinum for that particular album, Sky High.
Well, the Tavares family and I go back almost 30 years. It's been a long time. We worked very well together on the road. They're like brothers to me. I'm like a little sister to them. I love you guys. But today I'm here to talk about Chubby Tavares' latest upcoming CD. And it's called Can't Knock Me Down. And it's produced by Mr. Preston Glass, which Preston is also a friend of both of ours. And he's written and produced on several of my CDs also. So I'm wishing you much success on your CD, Chubby. I know you'll do your thing out there. You're always a cool, calm, and collected guy, and you're always clean cut. Always clean cut. I love you guys, and Chubby, congratulations. I hope you're ready to hear it, because I'm ready to hear it. So check him out, Chubby Tavares. Can't Knock Me Down. Bye-bye.
We ventured on, and one day we were asked to do a tour with these three gentlemen. We knew the name of the group, but we didn't have a clue who they were. And that was the Bee Gees. Madison Square Garden, New York City. We were in rehearsal with our band, and there was these three guys sitting out in the front in the audience. And we seen these three guys sitting out there. We thought they were roadies. We finished our rehearsal, went backstage to our dressing room, and our manager came to us and said, guess what? He says, I just finished talking to the Bee Gees, Barry Gibb in particular. Told me that he had a great song that he wrote for Tavares. So it was late 1977. We had the pleasure of recording More Than a Woman. But what happens is that they find out that now we got the biggest motion picture going on with Saturday Night Fever with John Travolta. So we end up latching on to Best Album of the Year and received the Grammy Award in 1978 for Best Album of the Year. Where else can you go? You know, what better company than to be with Barry Gibb and his brothers? More than a woman to me, baby.
Hey Chubby, it's Jeff Basker, aka The Wanderer. Congrats on your new album, and thanks for giving me my first gig and being one of the greatest mentors I've ever had. God bless.
And now that I reflect on working all these years with my brothers, Tavares. It's come time for me to venture off a little bit more and do my own solo project.
I remember back when I was a teenager and I would listening to the radio, and I would hear these songs by a group called Tavares. And I loved all the music, but in particular I loved the voices, the harmonies. And I noticed that the ones that listed as Chubby as the lead singer were the ones that I gravitated to. But you can imagine my thrill, my excitement when I ended up meeting Chubby, and then we talked about doing a project together. So I was so excited and thrilled to be working with Chubby, and even if he wasn't a great guy, I still would be thrilled because of that great voice. But it turned out he was such a great, warm, loving, easygoing guy, and still on top of his game. What I mean by that is vocally, he's in great shape, and his mind is very, very on top of things. On getting to know Chubby, I got to know some personal things about him that came into play when we were coming up with the songs for the album.
Hi, I'm Ziola Gay, and I just got finished listening to
Chubby Tavares'
new songs, and I found that his songs were full of inspiration and love, and that he delivered it with grace and dignity. My brother Marvin, he sang the peace and harmony through his music, and it's such an inspiration to me to know that Marvin was a mentor to
Chubby.
When a project is something that's personal to the artist and they feel connected to it, it really reaches the heart of the listener or the consumer. So we started compiling the songs. I went back and wrote some things. We went over a couple of ideas that would work as cover songs. Chubby actually contributed as a writer to a couple of the songs. We put together not only a great collection of just songs, but an album that people would say, there's a connectivity there, there's a continuity, there's a message behind the album Can't Knock Me Down. And it can be summed up where an individual has said, enough is enough. I'm not going to let the world around me, with its negativity, its violence, rub off on me. But it also can be as a group, as a family, because there's a lot of children being lost to violence, whether it's gang violence, whether it's being victims of even people with authority overstepping. There's even a bigger connectivity with communities, and then, of course, with relations between human beings, that we can, if we stick together and do things in a way that's not based on violence or based on anger, then we can stand, and that's where the Can't Knock You Down comes in. There's another song on the album called Yesterday Don't Count, and that's one that Chubby contributed as a co-writer too. And that happens to fit right in with the theme. And basically what it's talking about is that while we might have achieved some things as a race or as a human race in the past, we have to every day take in those good values and expound or grow on them, use them as a foundation, and not just say, well, we've already done that, so now we'll kick back. So we thought as mature men that this would be a good thing to bring out to people, to remind them that every day is something we have to build upon. Working in the studio producing Chubby's vocals was a joy. Yeah, and there is a special song on the album that I was inspired to write called Silent Whisper, which Chubby does a fantastic vocal to. I was inspired to write about something that happened in Chubby's life. He lost a son to unprovoked and senseless violence way too soon. And when he told me what had happened and the emotional scars it left on the family, that was in itself enough to endear me to Chubby and his family. But then I think I was moved and inspired to write something that would not only touch on that subject, but yet have a way that he can express and maybe even have full closure, but with love toward that wonderful son that he lost. And then also bring attention, once again, to the senseless violence that happens at times. And unbeknownst to me, at least, it all fit in with the theme of the album. So, and yet it was a ballad. So I'm really fortunate that I was blessed to have this gift of coming up with songs that touch me. And every time I hear that song,
somehow I feel your presence, a calming balm, so true, so tight. Sometimes my day and sometimes
Preston and I have become not just friends, not business partners, but brothers. And we have done an album that I keep looking back at and saying, this is going to be the venture where we jump into a rocket and get shot to the moon. Our new CD is called Can't Knock Me Down. My mom used to always tell me that age is just a number. And I feel like I have plenty more years left in me, especially working with my best friend, Preston Glass, and his wife, Gina.
When Chubby Tavares walked into my front door, I knew that there was a star entering my home. Just his sweet, kind demeanor was just beautiful. And the minute he walks in on Music Choice, they're playing his song, Must Be an Angel. He came in to work with my husband, Preston Glass, which he's worked with many, many recording artists like Earth, Wind & Fire, Kenny G, Whitney, Aretha Franklin, but I knew that there was something special about this man. He became more family to us. When they entered the recording studio, Chubby would come outside and sit, and he would sing, and I got to hear the pre of them starting to record. It was so amazing to hear his wonderful voice. It was like the birds singing in my trees. The wonderful thing about this project, it has such an important message for the world to hear. And we're just so excited about it and can't wait for everyone to hear a piece of this beautiful music that Chubby and Preston have made. I've seen a lot of artists come and go in this business. Chubby Tavares is one of those guys that's going to stay forever.
We are losing too many of our children through violence and murders that have to stop. And in Can't Knock Me Down, my last line in that song says, it's gotta stop. Somewhere it has to stop. Children are dying, parents are crying. Please pay attention and let's keep rolling with our lives in peace.